Hello everybody, this is Harper, and today we have some Guilty Gear Strive, and I'm pretty glad to be back playing it. This is Celestial, where yesterday was February 2nd. I zoned out and played a lot of Guilty Gear, even though Wednesdays are always lobby night for the North American competitive Grand Blue scene in New York Lobby 1. You should check it out if you want to play a fun game. A very accessible game, which I think it might actually be better looking than Guilty Gear. I like that game a lot. I want it to get rolled back. It deserves a chance. But I haven't played Guilty Gear for a while because I was kind of learning a little bit about BlazBlue, which I want to continue. I really want to learn Naoto, but those dash cancels are going to be pretty rough on my old boomer hands. Once you hit 30, apparently you can no longer play fighting games. Unless you're Daigo, and then you're 40, and you can definitely play fighting games. Today's gonna be a lot of Baiken, just because Baiken is everywhere. Baiken is pretty easy to pick up, and she can be really scary in the right hands. We'll talk about the matches. We're also going to talk about Celestial in general, and just the way that there's like this odd gradation between like people who are lower tier and learning like me, like people who can gain access. And what I do to gain access, by the way, is I beat up other people who are trying to gain access. That's the secret. If you want to get into Celestial, don't fight like a sweat lord. Fight the other people who are like around your thing. You can get there. You can get in there a couple of times, probably, as long as you can. Carry yourself through some rounds. But yeah, we have a couple matches coming up, which I think starts with Baiken. There we go. So Baiken's kind of scary, right? The thing about Baiken with Giovanna is that Giovanna's attacks aren't stubby, but I guess they're stubby maybe by the rules of Guilty Gear Strive. Thankfully, all it takes is one confirm, and I can even up the life relatively, but Baiken has a lot of pretty easily applied tools. I should have punished that burst like much more than I did. Instead, thank the Lord, I get the hit on the Rekka and I can go into Tempestad. So that's all because of a gold burst. But Baiken. Tatami Gaish, very good mix-up tool. H. Kabari, really great, or at least pretty good at calling people out on neutral if they're like dashing or things like that. Kabari S, like S Kabari, the one that tethers you, can be kind of scary. It depends on your reaction afterwards. Like, some people can do some really nasty mix-up on there. There's some ways to do some cross-up stuff with Yozansen, which is like her aerial sword move. I almost said maneuver. There's another clean confirm. I think my confirms are getting better. I think some of my button execution is still messed up. You'll see because I still toss out those two H's from time to time. But this is like, okay, fine, I'm tethered to you, but like, it doesn't matter to me too much, or at least it didn't matter to me too much until they do the instant Yozansen, at which point I need to jab my way out. Instant Yozansen, which is to say that doing an instant overhead, because usually what Yozansen is, it's an aerial move that can cross. What you need to do is you have to Tiger Knee it, a thing which I don't have as much experience with. A lot of people are like, just do these Street Fighter techniques, and I'm like, I don't. I've played Street Fighter V, I played Street Fighter 2 when I was... It's funny to say when I'm young, because that's just an old man's game now, which means that I'm a handful of years, like a decade off from being an old man, an old lady. Unless you think that I'm showing only matches of me winning or losing or whatever, because I'm only showing matches. I'm not showing full sets, just because it allows me to more easily go through my footage and just grab like what I hope is a diversity of things, even though there is a lot of Baiken here, to just show off like really good Baiken and a couple other things. Anyway, this is Anji. By now, if you've ever heard me talk about Anji, I don't care for him. If he tosses a butterfly, you can use Travau. Very useful tool. Although that being said, his butterfly is hitting me a lot. He's in recovery from jumping, so you can toss out a super. If you have a reversal and some dude's jumping, they're just landing, fucking reversal super them. You can get them. Yeah, but Fujin Fujin's basically his only shtick, and it's just a high-low guessing game, right? Or if he jumps in. And if he does the jump in, which I need to learn to react to a little bit more cleanly, you can grab that before he grabs you, as I understand. I might be wrong. Like that hop in, I think there's options there. Or if he's hopping in like that, I could probably close slash. So we opt for a yellow RC, which is funny because usually I'll use RC like for RRC for combos, which I don't use a lot in this video pretty much at all. I save meter just to spend it in chunks because I've at least getting back into things, that's a way to be more decisive. I'm an idiot and I try and throw out Rekka twice, which means I'm dead. Easily could have won that. Instead I don't, which is fine. Because I'm going to tell you a little secret. I lose more matches in Celestial than I ever win. Which is to say that I can gain entry, and then we talk about, I was alluding to it earlier, there he's going to do the overhead, so I jab him out. Chip is scary. Like, Chip's whole deal is that he's just like madly overtuned, but he breaks anytime you sneeze on him. And here's an object lesson. Am I dead? Am I gonna lose? I'm certainly not dead. And as long as you're not dead, that doesn't mean you're in a position to lose. A thing that I've been really intellectualizing lately as I go through battles is that, like, fights like just aren't over until you've actually finished them. He might get me here off of like a command grab or something. No, I get him here off the confirm. I think there's one point in this fight where he command grab loops me, and I need to find a solution for that. It's always something I'm bad against when it comes to Chips. So I think this goes to a duel 3. Right, but like Chip's thing is that he's mad overtuned, but if you call him out like maybe twice, then you're fine, right? You're gonna see too, I do a lot of dash throw here. It's one of my favorite things to do on Geo. It's also a thing I like doing on Lancelot and Grand Blue a lot. Even though I don't think you're rewarded quite as heavily for grabbing in that game as you are in Strive. So this is a position where I'm in a pretty good spot. All I need to do is tap him. But I think he's I think he's actually able to bring it back. Yeah, this is where it is. This is the grab loop. He grabs me again. Because I'm expecting something like another Rekka ring or something, so I defend there. So he gets me. That's not bad. You can see there's some of those errant 2Hs. There's just something about the way that I'm doing some of my inputs that I just need to clean them up. My confirms are fine. You're going to see in a couple cases, I think my confirms into supers are actually pretty nice. And now the answer becomes, what can I do to differentiate myself and to fit in up here and to really not feel, because it's like sometimes you feel like you've lucked out, and I've never felt comfortable in Celestial. It's why I don't stream anymore, right? Because when I'm up here I just want to focus, and it's not hard, but it is. He baits the burst there, which is kind of nice, or at least he PRCs and knows it's coming. But you know what you can do if he's doing the cross up Beta Blade, Gamma Blade? You can use Sol Puente, and you can get him. This is a very well played Baiken. This is what you got to look out for with Baiken, which is, first off, don't burst like I did. This is the worst burst I've seen in the history of bursts. But you can see, Baiken's pressure can be very scary. That Yozan-sen right there to call me out is really good, and they're just powerful, right? Like, some people have really taken to this character in a strong way, and my suggestion will be, partially that's because the character is easy to pick up, and also just because she has very powerful tools. You can see there, I was roped that entire time. The thing is, when you get hit by the rope, that's a mistake there too. I should have finished the Rekka. I have a couple of mistakes that are going on here. One of them is a failure to use meter in more creative and expressive ways. Another is to develop a little bit more defensively. Another is to look out for errant inputs, and then another is to, as I've been trying to for some time now, even though it's such an effective tool, even in the highest levels, is to cut Sol Puente out of my vocabulary a little more. That's just pure dominant Baiken. You'll run into that a lot, which is very cool. Sol Puente, by the way, 2146. It's my backflip that crosses. Its hitbox is pretty cool because it's just a split kick and both sides of the split go kabam. This is somebody trying to get into Celestial. So fighting Mei is like, I had a couple times last night where that message popped up depending on the opponent. You can try and recover from a Rekka series like that a little bit, which is good. I actually don't know what the recovery frames on that, because Dust Loop is so fucking broken right now on the Giovanna page. Because I went to look up some stuff the other day, and I was like, oh, it doesn't really have anything. So Mei is like a problem to fight against for 2 reasons. There's that. Look at that's a fuck. I'm sorry. Like, I'll pat myself on the back. That's a good confirm. Tiny 2S into Ventania. Like, yeah, absolutely. Mei players jump a lot because their anchor shit is so disjointed. They do their dolphin, obviously, and they do a handful of other moves that just have these really disjointed hitboxes that are absolutely bizarre. There's a part of me that wishes I could learn Mei, but I as a general rule of thumb, first off, I like more standard rushdown kind of strike throw stuff anyway. I actually paused there to reset the Rekka, for the record, that is. Right, it gives me a little bit of room. I forgot that she has meter, places me in a dangerous spot. So you just gotta play out the neutral here a bit. And then also, she's not expecting the grab. I'm sorry, I'm glad that you were trying to get into Celestial, but now you're gone. So that's how that happens. I don't gatekeep often, but when I do, I try and make sure it's Mei. I think there's another gatekeep here later. Is it a Mei? No, it might be a Baiken. Baiken's just so prevalent right now. But yeah, there you go. Gate kept gone. Do a little wave emote for them. Hey. I shouldn't laugh because I lose so much. So this is a guy who is, so this is what I'm talking about when I say that there's tiers of people inside of Celestial. And one of them is just people with like the glowing names, and then also just like high levels. He has like 2,600 and I'm not even at 200, right? So I'm playing this aggressively because that's my job. My job is to not let Nago push a lot of big buttons. Because Nago is not a problem character by any stretch of the imagination, but like, look at that hitbox, dog. Like, that's some pretty gnarly shit. And so this guy, it's like, yes, so the yellow aura means that he's, I forget the exact specifics, but means that he's been in the top 300 of Celestial at least one time. I don't know why I do that. I just kind of stunt on him a little bit. I just think it's kind of fun. And then you're going to see in this round, he starts like BMing like pretty bad. It's going to start after this hit. No, like, so these are winnable matches. Yeah, there's some of the BM right there. And I can't tell if he's like being like, haha, blah, blah, I'm so much better than you, or like what he's doing, but it's like, you're gonna swing that sword? I'm gonna Ventania you. Like, dude, like I don't win this round because I get napped here, but there's a version of this where that dude just eats his fucking, like, if I get one grab on him, I just block that once and I dash in and grab him or something, or I get one more string on him, he's dead. Now he asserts a lot of authority here, which is fine, but it's also like, I'm also pushing a lot of buttons because I think I'm irritated by this point, but it's like, so here's a couple things I'm gonna say. Don't be an asshole. Don't fucking teabag. Treat everybody that you fight, regardless of their skill level, which is to say, regardless of like their character level. Who cares what character level? You're 2000 level fucking Nagoriyuki. Have fun not having sex with people. Like, what do I care about? Also, he doesn't run out the set. He ditches. I'm out here constantly learning, trying to be pretty happy. Getting frustrated every now and then. And I message this fella, or I just say, I mess it up. I say, why you be? Why you be like that? Don't be like that, kids. It's not worth it. Another Baiken. Like I said, lots of Baikens. The fields are full of Baikens. The streets are paved with cheese. I think I could have confirmed that into Rekka or a couple other things. On heavy counter right there, if she hadn't bursted, I could have gone into Rekka, right? I think I get a chance again for that there. Decent air throw. Not my favorite. Yeah, I could have, like, because I backdash there. So I instinctively, like, sometimes I'll do strike and backdash. Kind of as this way to, like, unless I'm going into a longer string, like, I will pop you and then I will back off, right? There we go. Simple confirm. The normal stuff that you expect from Giovanna. All pretty solid, right? But we've also seen situations where Bai can be really oppressive, and I think that as time goes on, Bai can. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna dare place anybody on a tier list. I think like some of the people who have asserted themselves as some of the game's biggest competitors are clearly there. Nagoriyuki, Soul, even still to an extent. You know, an Axel in the right hand. Zato. Really Zato, because people have trouble playing against Zato. That's somebody coming out of their jump again. So you hit him. Right, like Zato, and some of those are matchup things, right? Like, Zato is a hard matchup because there's a lot to keep in mind. But that's a very relatively clean Baiken fight right there. And here we go, have another Mei. Look at this fucking nonsense. I don't have good commentary. Besides just, what is this? What is this character? She's gonna get me here just off the strength of like 1,000 dolphins. Which you'll see many times I do just 6p the dolphin, bro. I do. Mei is like, design-wise, Mei is a fascinating character because she has these pretty fast. That's another case of using Sol Puente when I don't need to. But also, I don't know what her air movement's gonna be. I should have just carried out the Rekka. There's another 6p. And again, this is one of those cases of like, it's not over till it's over. We're also gonna RC here to reset that. Grab her. Rekka. Try and see if we can use some dust for some distance strikes. She's high enough that I can hit her there, for the record, because she's extending her hitbox downwards, so I do it. That is something resembling matchup knowledge, where I'm like, oh, I can just kick her. There you go, 6p the dolphin. Yeah, fighting Mei is just like fighting a gerbil that's taken so much ketamine. Hit those confirms, make them bleed. Right, like, and also they're not they don't expect the strike throw, or the throw part of the strike throw. Right, dash in, get the confirm, get the kill. It's bananas. Like, the entire state of affairs of fighting a Mei player is just like, they're jumping and they're going all over the place. It's whatever. Here's another Baiken. I swear it's not me going, this is the Baiken. Fantastic, spectacular hour. Good blocks on them, keeping the attacks up. Good job with their that 5p of them to finding that gap there. right? Like, this is somebody who has a pretty firm understanding of the character. This is a pretty good round for them. A lot of good tatami, kind of mix-up stuff going on there, which is pretty good. And then also you see that move where she jumps up and tosses out the like the Estendo Spike Mace Club. That's her JS. It's probably one of the most filthy buttons in the entire game. It's genuinely good. You can see just how bananas, excuse me, how bananas easy it is for Geo to like dash like halfway across the screen and throw you to. If you see a Geo dashing at you, you have to assume two things. They're either about to throw you or they're about to like go pretty low. They're in recovery. I should have let that run out. Probably could have won the round. But they burst, so I kind of like try and break away. Get the throw. Survive with a sliver. Again, a match is not over until someone has lost. A lesson I have been learning a lot. Have you lost the round? I don't know, are you breathing? The answer is yes. You have not yet lost the round. You should fight like you haven't. Obviously, you should play more cautiously. And now we watch, there's that normal, pretty standard tatami mix-up, which is kind of like instant AD tatami once you're tethered. They are throwing out a big button, and I'm going to hit them. So that's as simple as that. Pretty good. This is fun. Anji, my least favorite character. Can we find redemption? The truth of the matter is, I did a very long series of sets against this Anji, who I thought was just a very strong player. But he was also very accommodating and like he beat me a lot. And you know, if you're in a situation, this is just a bad super, by the way. I misread my meter entirely, so I kind of fucked myself over here. If you're ever in a situation in like a lobby, even Celestial, when like somebody's willing to go at it for like 20 or 30 matches, just do it. Like, you'll learn something about reading people, and you'll also just like people. The better people in this game understand that there are people of that like experiences a spectrum. So like, even if you're on the intermediate to higher end of the spectrum, or if you're at least able to represent sometimes in those spaces, or like, you know, even if you're in the park, right? If you're a floor 4 person in the park and you're fighting a floor 10 person, and they seem willing to run out like, you know, 30 games with you or some nonsense, like, then you just do it. So this guy ran out what must have been like 40 games, which gave me a chance to better understand Anji, right? To better understand what this matchup is, including things like knowing that on that spin, my two options are obviously dash throw, which pretty much everybody knows, or they're to dash in with my far slash kicks, and then the guard point can't, as far as I understand it, sustain all of them. So, you know, I have a tool, which I don't know if it's unique to Giovanna, which allows me to not even need to play Anji's game entirely, right? Which is that I can use my Vegito kicks to not even deal with the guard point, which is pretty nice. And then we get our confirm, which isn't enough to kill, unfortunately, so we have to play a little smart. I thought I could 6p there. I don't know why I miss it. We follow up with a normal, because it's just going to come out faster. This might be our last match for the day. This is one more Baiken. Like I said, Baikens everywhere. This one was trying to enter Celestial. This is another gatekeep. I don't know why I don't finish that Rekka, So at the end of this session, we're just going to talk about like some very casual mistakes. Remember, I haven't played this game in earnest since October. I hit October, I had a bunch of stuff I really wanted to get done, and then I focused on Endwalker. I took a vacation, and the end of the year was just like my brain got fried. So I'm making some content, playing more fighting games, getting out some writing, making some progress on some very cool stuff at work, which I can't quite talk about. I'm surprised that they do that and they didn't go for like an air throw or something. They're gonna get me here. A nice thing out of Tatami to do is, I think that's her low slash. I can catch people. People are figuring, I mean, the bread and butter off of H. Kabari for Baiken is pretty well figured out at this point. I actually looped 2 Sepulturas there, because sure, why not? When you, sometimes when you 614K, you 614K twice. This is a little awkward. I'm trying to find the right moment here for like a reversal or something. There, we get that problem again, which is kind of a bummer. This is her super, it's gonna catch me. Won't kill me though. Gonna do a lot of damage. Baiken can kind of be a scary character damage-wise. Gold Burst does not look good for me. And you can see the explosion there is so big that I'm blocking, and I block backwards because that's how big it is. I'm blocking the game's like, did you mean to block backwards? It's huge. And I go, yeah, sure. So this person doesn't get to go to Celestial as well. So I have a large chunk here dedicated to just vibing. To which I say, first off, if you can hear the music above me, I've been with family for a little while, ever since my apartment burned down. I'm trying to figure out a way to move out to San Francisco this year, although the world seems convinced that COVID is just a thing that we're going to have to deal with forever. So that's fun. What are my initial thoughts being back in Celestial? It's work. I don't dislike it, but you have to enter into it with the mindset that you are going to get rocked. You're going to have some cool matches where you just like are dominant as hell, and sometimes you'll start off and kick ass and then a dude will just run it back. You have to understand that there are people who live up here where I just visit, right? Or maybe you just visit, which creates sort of like this implicit caste system, right? Where people are either willing to play with, you know, the 100s, the 200s, or they do like what that other guy did, and they kind of BM you and do whatever, which, to be fair, is pretty rare in this game. You don't get a lot of BM. This is not Street Fighter, but it does happen. Do you need to know intense combos to win in Celestial? No, but you don't need to know intense combos to win anywhere. You know, what you need to know is how to move your character around, which is to say you need to know how to handle some footsie scenarios. You need to, excuse me, it's because I've been talking so long. You need to understand a few situations, like for what you can and can't do, which makes the Baiken matchup right now so scary to me, is because like there are just times where I don't know when I can throw buttons, and I think the answer is just like sometimes you just stay still and you wait, and then the gaps sort of create themselves. Whereas, you know, with Giovanna, it's a little different now. I need to restudy some block strings, but like she can keep her pressure pretty consistently. Baiken has a couple spots, like especially if she uses something like too heavy. There should be time afterwards to like a barre out or something like that, or like give it a smack, and go from there. Especially if you're on Giovanna, all it takes is like 2K or like a 2S, and you can kind of establish yourself again. Some matchups are just gonna be things that you're gonna have to fucking die to a lot. You know what I don't know how to play against still, especially because, like, you know, I just don't, is Happy Chaos. I don't know how to close that distance. I can totally dash FD. But can I get in close? Yeah, I can get in close, but am I often winning? Right? No. Or right now, Jacko. If you fight people in Celestial who are like high ranked Jackos, it's like they're the only ones that are left. They're the ones who've stuck with it. And they can be scary, right? Good news is we have that combo editing tool to allow us to learn hopefully some better BMBs. A lot of the stuff that gets posted on there, because it's the fucking internet, it's like really memey shit that doesn't really mean much. Which is a bit of a bummer. Because what you want are like things that you can reliably kind of call upon and use. But what are my critiques? Clean up your inputs, no more 2H's. Use your meter more creatively. Respect anytime you know somebody has a reversal on the table. Be careful of being over-reliant on throws. Your dash throw game is okay, but you can be over-reliant. These are my notes to myself. Also, just have a positive mental attitude, which I think you've managed, Harper, and that's that. And we'll post more of these later in the month, some more Celestial stuff. But wait, what's this? I say after first editing one version of this video and coming in here now. It's a match that I found, and it is against Soul. It's against Soul Bad Guy. This is normal strike throw stuff. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not gonna like brag too much, although I will say that backdash to avoid the close slash right there, pretty nice. That's 7 frame startup, and I knew that guy was gonna be punching that button, so I'm dashing back, right? Of course, more often than not, sometimes you'll just backdash and you'll get hit. So who the fuck knows if that was the right decision? But he's +3 on block if you do that, so you know it's tricky. Good solid first round. What I like about this round is that I struggle a lot in Celestial. I die a lot. I'm nervous streaming it partially because I'm nervous about the judgment of it all. Because I'm talking, you know, I will go dozens of matches against some hard motherfuckers who beat my ass. But I also do know the game well enough to know, hey, he's in a position right there. I can gold burst. And then, you know, I make a mistake here again, I can RRC to get out of it. So this isn't a huge match. I wanted to leave it here at the end because I guess my answer to everything is like, yes, you can learn the complicated things, and yes, I intend to now that I'm back into it, but also sometimes if you just understand your character and trust yourself a little, you can get there. So that's nice. I will see you all around. Goodbye.